Hey, good morning. This is Skylar with Regan. Today, we're going to go over investing on the very short end of the curve in Treasury securities. So we're going to start just looking at the curve and where we sit today versus the start of the year. Here we have the curve at the end of last year, very inverted, as you can see, about 540 on the front end and the 5-year at about 385. So about 155 basis point inversion from bills to 5-year. We have flattened since then. Some will call it steepen. I like to call it flatten. So we've gone from 540 still to about 440, 445 on the 5-year. So less than 100 basis points steep front end to 5-year. Okay. So many folks out there are sitting in treasuries or money markets. Let's go through your options and what you should look for when potentially investing in a mutual fund and trying to pay attention to how they invest their cash. Okay. So this on Bloomberg, this screen's called PX1. And it has basically all of the live, they call them actives, the most recently issued bills up here and notes. So you could see bid ask all bills. Bills are technically 365 days and less. You start with your 1 month, 2 month, all the way out to basically a year. So this is your 12-month bill. This is your bid ask. This is your yield. All these bills are actually zeros, meaning they pay zero coupon. When you buy them, you're buying them at a discount to par or 100 cents. So this is the yield you're getting, very kind of uniform across the curve, all the way out to about a year. These are your active 2 out to 30 year. Over here, we have tips. Okay. So when you look at bills, theoretically, you're investing at almost 5.4%. Okay. Now, I want to compare that to folks that are sitting in money market accounts. And I pulled up 2 large mutual funds. We have Double Line Total Return Fund, and we have Guggenheim's Total Return Fund. So I'm going to go to Double Line. I'm going to look at their holdings. While I do that, I'm going to pull up Guggenheim holdings. And you could see here, their 4th, 5th, and 6th largest holdings here are all these money market accounts. Okay. You can see over here, they have only about 150 basis points of cash. So it's kind of evenly split amongst these. One of these might be dated, whether it's this or this. So I'm going to pull up MSILF. It's MVRXX. Okay. And by nature, a money market account, a money market fund, has to have very, very short duration securities. Okay. And when you see that over here, WAM, weighted average life, they actually measure this in days. Okay. Not years. So X amount of days, whether it's 30, 60, 90, 180 days. But you could see here, you're paying about an 18 basis point expense ratio, and you're getting a yield of only 523. So by nature, when Double Line is relying on Morgan Stanley, First American Funds, JP Morgan to invest in these money market accounts, they are paying them 18 basis points of fees. Let's look at Guggenheim. Much larger cash position at about 523. Very similar here. They're in these 2 Dreyfus funds. These are their 2 larger holdings. Okay, so let's look at DIRXX. And very similar. They're going to measure this in days. This is actually about 18 basis points. You got to look at expense ratio, not just management fee. It looks like they're actually subsidizing that, but you're looking at a yield here of only about 5.19. So instead of going out and purchasing bills directly, which are very, very liquid, at 539, they are relying on these money market accounts to do them for them, and they're paying them almost 20 basis points to fulfill that. Now let's look at a couple of alternatives here. If we look at this bill screen, when I'm usually going out and buying bills, I am kind of looking for the highest yields out there all the way out through the year and kind of moving it between when we think we might need liquidity, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 6, or 12-month bills. once he's got over about 5%, I was like, okay, one month bills kind of make sense. But you can go out and invest in any one of these. But there's also alternatives. You can own tips. So you can own really short duration, really short maturity, inflation protected strips or protected bonds. Down here, I posted this over the weekend, break evens, which are what is the 1-year bill minus the 1-year tip. Okay, so roughly a year from now, you're getting a 323 yield on the tip. Add that at about 190 to that. That gets you to that 515, 520 yield. So the market is saying that inflation is going to drop precipitously. Either A, the market's wrong, or B, tips are really, really cheap right now if inflation is going to be higher than this. Okay. But you could go out, you could buy 1 month, 6 month, a little bit longer tips, fulfill that need and protect yourself versus inflation. Now, a normal tip here. So let's just look out 6 months from now, this bond, what am I getting? So these are a little bit strange because you're getting that you're only getting a 346 yield, but you're adding inflation onto that. So they look at the next 6, 7 inflation prints, and what's going to happen is this number right here will increasing your principal. So it's still a very, very short where the assumptions are currently. You're getting a 7.11 yield. Let's lower that inflation assumption to 2. You still get a 580 yield for a really, really short bond. This is interesting. One other thing I want to look at here, I want to look at floating rate notes. Okay. So we went over fixed rate bills, which are 0 coupon bonds. And I'm just going to show you this here. This is May 15th. It is a 0 right there. Okay, it's paying no coupon. But if I go out and I buy 10 million of this, and I'm just going to go back to the screen to show you. If I click on this to buy, and I type in 10 million, I'm getting a 0 coupon, but I'm getting this at about a $470,000 discount to that $10 million balance. So what's going to happen is it's just going to accrete over time from 9.53 million up to 10 million. You get paid your 10 million back on May 15th. One last thing I want to cover are floating rate notes. We like these as well. This has become a much bigger market in the last, 5 years. This is the heaviest issuance right here, this January 31 of 26. Your coupon here is 5571. It's paying this quarterly 3-month Treasury plus 24.5 basis points. So your coupon actually resets quarterly. And this is trading at about par spot 21. So on this particular bond, you can go out and you can get just give me a second. You're actually getting about a 543 yield on this floater. That's why I really like this. You're getting a 543 yield, which is higher than basically any bill is going to offer you, higher than a money market, obviously, and you get that floating rate coupon. So if the curve does further flatten, or this end potentially rises, so if this flattens out, i.e. this goes higher, or this goes higher, you're actually going to get a higher yield owning the floater. Thanks for your time.